Hey there, everybody. It is the Water Trio time, and so we're coming to you with the astrology update for week beginning May 6. So welcome, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and how are you girls all going?
Very excited for the new month. Like, May is just nicer than April, shall we say? Let's get that out there right out of the gate.
I hear you.
Yeah,
what do you think, Leishi?
Yeah. There's some really nice highlights and spots in there coming up. So, yeah, so excited to start talking about that first week.
Totally. So, who's going first?
Well, I can dive in because I am really excited about this. I'm going to talk about Mercury conjunct Uranus, which is happening at 3 Taurus on Wednesday, the 8th of May, if you're in Canada and the States, and that'll be Thursday, the 9th of May, if you're in Australia. I feel like that's like my tagline now. I'm excited about this because it's the first time that Mercury has conjunct Uranus since Uranus moved into Taurus. I don't think, if memory serves me correctly, I don't think we had this last year.
I don't think so either.
No. This is a chance for Uranus to tell us what he wants in Taurus. So ideas, insights, and encounters that are going to happen midweek, Wednesday, Thursday. Yes, it could be a bit exciting. It could be a bit fast-paced. It could be a bit chaotic in general because that's the astro weather. Mercury Uranus is like this massive mental buzz. It's like hyper stimulation in the mind. So yeah, there might be some sleeplessness because your brain is just buzzing. You've got all these ideas. Mercury Uranus is one of my favorite type of transit combinations where the mind shifts, and I always believe that change starts in the mind. So if you want to change anything in your life, you've got to change the way you think about it, the way you understand it. And that's why I'm really excited just even talking about this, because the mental shifts and breakthroughs that can come through midweek are phenomenal.
Huge, yeah. We can see your excitement, Kel.
I know. I'm like, I just can't stop talking about this. I'm basically channeling Mercury Uranus, like just don't stop talking, and the ideas.
I totally love a Mercury Uranus too. Like, it kind of can clear out that mental fog. It's like boom, boom, boom. You've got all these ideas and just like synapses are firing and everything's kind of working. Things come together and quicker than what we've had, like after 2 months of Mercury in Pisces. It's just, this is going to be just a thank goodness aspect, you know.
That was not going to be a G-rated word that was coming out of your mouth first.
Yeah, exactly. Luckily, like Uranus, it worked quickly. My filter between
I could
brain
see.
and tongue
I'm like,
was
she's
activated.
changing.
I know. I was just like, I will just put the other cast in her box for now. So,
I love it.
And also what I love about this too, Kel, is that this actually occurs on the exaltation degree of the moon.
It does. It does. So every planet has a special degree in each zodiac sign. Well, hang on a second. Each planet has one special degree somewhere in the zodiac where it is said to be most raised up or most exalted. And the moon has that at 3 Taurus. So in traditional astrology, the moon was a planet that had a lot more to do with language and writing than we associate the moon with in modern astrology. And so the idea of Mercury having this very sparkly, excitable, stimulated connection to Uranus on the moon's exaltation degree, ideas, communication, like finding the right words to say what you need to say. But I do think this is Mercury. It's a quick moving planet. He's giving a chance for the longer trend of Uranus in Taurus to show itself in your life. So the topics that you particularly want to focus on midweek, the things you find yourself talking about or thinking about, or the encounters that you have that might be a bit random that spark this new shift in perspective, that is actually what your next 7 years is going to be all about.
Yeah. It's exciting time for the Uranus and Taurus transit, with things actually connecting with it this time around.
Totally.
Those inner planets. That's awesome. I'm really looking forward to that as well.
I think it's a really good one. But I know you gals have other thoughts about this week and other favourite aspects to share.
Well, hang on. Because I'm the Mercury conjunct Uranus natally.
Yeah, what do you want to say about this, Leish? You should tell us.
Well, for me, I love everything that you're saying and all that it offers, and yet there is almost that sometimes the brain moves too fast. Sometimes I can't actually keep my mouth going up with it. So as a child, I actually used to stutter a little bit because I wasn't able to keep my mouth going with my brain. And a lot of people find me talking too fast and thinking too fast, and that I have to slow it down to keep up with them. So I just think that is the potential for this as well. Like, it can be almost that mental overload or overload of stimulation. So definitely remembering to get back into our bodies, can't like take a breath. You know, if you're finding that people are like, what are you doing? Where are you going? Like, I'm trying to follow you. Being with all of that as well. I mean, yes, it is in Taurus, so it is a more grounded, a more slow sign, but I just think Mercury and Uranus in any sign is going to be like those mental fireworks or mental gymnastics that we can turn, that are awesome and can really help us think laterally and find new solutions to problems. But just trying to be grounded in it at the same time and slow down the pace, because it will be all over the place.
Totally. I definitely think it's like an overdoing it quality. And it is mentally taxing. Like, that's why I think people have trouble sleeping with things like this, for sure.
Yeah, I certainly do.
Yeah.
So it's awesome for the insights, but throw a piece of amethyst under your pillow. Make sure you don't have any screen time before bed if the sleep is
I love your amethyst under the pillow analogy. I just have a wine.
I usually have a bath and then read myself to sleep, which obviously has been happening to me since I was a baby. I feel like the amethyst would be a bit uncomfortable under the pillow.
Maybe just
a little chunk.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So
and then you take it out and wash it, because it draws out. Yeah, no, not that.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
and not that either. Yeah.
This is what I'm visualizing. I'm like, I'm gonna feel that through my pillow.
No, I don't have. I've just got little chips.
Listening on SoundCloud or iTunes, we're all comparing the size of our rocks right now. Just so you know, mine is the smallest, so I'm feeling a little bit like, I'm just going to crawl into my Cancer shell now and just have a moment.
Mine's the longest and Leisha's is the biggest.
Mine's the thickest and the widest.
Okay, well,
Cassandra, are we making you blush? I cannot believe it that you're the one blushing right now. Okay, so...
And now you know what you can do with amethyst under your pillow.
And also, hello, Mercury, Uranus, conversations that are a little bit off colour, shall we say.
And Venus's favourite sign.
So on that note, should we talk about Mars, Jupiter?
Yes, let us. Okay, so I always get a bit excited, no pun intended, about a Mars Jupiter aspect. I think this is the first podcast we've really lost it. Okay, I'm going to try and
Okay, let's rein it in. Mars Jupiter. Tell us.
Because I'm at the helm of this episode. So Mars, Jupiter, I do love this. Anything that, Mars is about our passion and it's our energy, what fires up and what really gets our mojo on. I call it that kind of, your feet hit the floor in the morning, like what do you do first? So that's kind of, the Mars thing there. I think we've discussed this before, maybe one time, I'm straight for the food. And and then opposing Jupiter in Sagittarius, one thing I think that we're really going to see is maybe some, fighting for beliefs or arguing facts or opinions being inflated or aggravated in some way. So, watch those Twitter feeds. They could probably go off. This is May 6th. And of course it will be May 5 in the US. And so we are talking about Mars in Gemini, Jupiter in Sag. So we have that air fire component. So there is that propensity or potential for people to kind of like over exaggerate facts or opinions or confusing fact for opinion and things kind of, going really over the top there. But, on a more personal level and an, individual level, it can really help you decide or make a choice around, what is worth fighting for and what do I really believe to be true, or what is my dogma perhaps that even needs to be shaken up or, sorted out a little bit. So yeah, that's my little bit of my Mars Jupiter take. And of course it's, always looking ahead and looking forward. This is also the axis that next year's eclipses will be taking place in. So it's interesting that we've kind of got this little bit of a pre-activation going on there where, Jupiter in Sag is really the only kind of, dare I say it, good thing going astrologically this year. So Mars coming along and kind of, stoking that fire, it could be like a good thing too, like really getting you inspired or driven or motivated. Like, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm excited for it too. What do you think, Leash?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I'm all Mars ruled, so anything that expands that. But it's what I feel like the image that I have for this. I don't know if you've ever been to Speaker's Corner in Hyde Park in London, where there literally is a soapbox. This is where they talk about people getting up on their soapbox, and the crowd gathers around and they watch as this person just sits there and speaks their truth to the masses. But often there's hecklers in the crowd as well. So these hecklers are like firing their small truths at it as well. So it feels like there's this push-pull between a lot of little truths in Gemini and this one big truth that the Jupiter in Sag wants to find. So it's trying to find that balance between the two, because it would be really nice if there was one truth that we all believed in and we all followed, but there isn't. The truth is subjective. So it's about kind of being open to hearing from other people and listening to what they have to say, but not using it as a battering ram to hit people over the head with. So, yeah, I think as well. And the drive towards the spiritual, the drive towards opening up, that Jupiter in Sag story that's been going on since November. It's like this is a bit of, an extra push, an extra hit towards opening up any opportunities or things that you've been trying to work towards with that. So, yeah. What about you, Kel?
Yeah, I do think there's some good and bad, if to use really basic language. I think that Jupiter is going to help maybe guide the Mars in Gemini. Mars in Gemini has been really this scattered energy since mid-April when Mars moved in. Was it mid-April or early April? I beg your pardon, early April.
The 1st of April.
Yeah, when Mars moved into Gemini. And it's really been pulling us in lots of different directions. Like, I know many of us are feeling this sort of heightened sense of like stressy, frenzied energy. And I'm hoping that the Jupiter in Sag is just going to kind of guide Mars. Like, this scatteredness is pointing towards this one goal or vision or project that you have. So there is a sense of being led forward with a particular purpose. Jupiter in Sag, on the other hand, gets a little bit disrupted, I think, by Mars in Gemini. So it sort of depends on the point of view that you take from this pair. Like, Jupiter can help Mars, whereas because Mars is a little bit disruptive, it's a little bit like, that sort of cheeky or naughty kid in class that would be, calling out things that were kind of funny but were kind of pulling you off track as well. So I think Sunday the 5th, Monday the 6th, there's a little bit of a caution to try and stay in your lane or stay on target, because the visual I get for Mars Jupiter is like an elastic band. Did anyone ever play elastics as a kid in school?
Oh, yes. Every day.
I don't know if this is an Australian thing. So some of our American or Canadian listeners might have to chime in. But yeah, you'd play your elastics, but sometimes you'd pull it, people would stand too far apart, or, when things get stretched so tightly, they snap or they break or you trip over. And I think there is a danger of excess, of trying to do too much or go too far or take on too many things. So there's that's what I mean. It's a mix where there's some cautions, but there's also that idea of like feeling motivated to move forward with a big dream.
Yeah.
Yeah, there can be a potential cutting of that Jupiterian exaggeration. So, it's going to be an interesting one to see how that plays out, because there are so many possible manifestations of how it can play out. you know, positive and negative. You know, Jupiter's in rulership, of course, so it's got its kind of upper hand there. But it's interesting too, like this happens just off the back of a Mercury-Jupiter trine. So, you know, Mars looking to Mercury for guidance through this. So that happens the day before. And then, of course, Mars activates Jupiter. So, yeah, I guess it's just one of those aspects, you know, watch and wait and see how it plays out for you.
Yeah, and I think try not to get too swept up in things that are really big and just potentially kind of too big.
Yeah, exactly. Like I often sort of, when I see this, you know, I'm looking at that, I'm like, yeah, this, you know, something on the internet is going to be huge and everyone's going to have an opinion about it. But what are the facts? And, you know, things can get really overblown. Totally. So whether that's in the astro community or the larger community, who knows? But yeah, it's going to be, I'm kind of like looking forward to seeing how this might play out. Yeah. So who's talking next? Who's the next one to tell us all about
this week? Tell us about Venus.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of torn between the two aspects with Venus on Friday, you know, because it starts, especially it will be Thursday in the US and Friday morning here. She starts with this lovely trine to Jupiter. And this is just, you know, the two benefics in the sky having a lovely tete-a-tete in there.
What?
Tete-a-tete. Or I'm not even saying that properly, am I?
Yeah, with some good ones, Leash. You come out with these things.
It's from the French salons. I mean, this is what it feels like to me. You know those the salon, the conversations that that in the late 1800s. This is the feeling of this to me, you know, going into a beautiful place with all these people that you know and having these big expansive conversations about the world and philosophy and how you think and your beliefs and your spirituality and just the beautiful flow that being with people of like mind and of, you know, like frequency can really help with. And, you know, especially off the back of, you know, whatever Mars earlier in the week was kind of cutting away with Jupiter and maybe impassioning. This is actually a time to bring some joy and some sweetness back into those Jupiterian projects that everybody's working on and all the opportunities that they're having around this. So, yeah, and I feel like, you know, like that the honeyed words of Venus are going to bring so much to Jupiter and wherever that's been playing out in people's charts back since November. So, yeah, I keep getting that image of a salon. So,
Venus
yeah, what about
bring
you girls?
A lovely balm to the situation that Mars has already kind of aggravated or poked a bit.
Yeah, totally.
So Venus comes along and, you know, just adds a little bit of sprinkle on top, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that. It's one of my favorite aspects this month, actually. Venus trine Jupiter. It's just a little bit of like a golden glow or, that sweetness, that honey, the grease that makes the wheels turn. I think of Venus trine Jupiter as collaboration, connection, support with a little bit of like luck or opportunity thrown in. I'm not saying like everything's perfect, but I do think there is at least sort of one experience or event towards the end of this week where it's like, we got it, or how amazing that this worked out type of thing.
And that could be a nice aspect, you know, leading into the Mother's Day weekend.
Oh, yeah, it is Mother's Day that weekend. Yeah.
Because do you have Mother's Day at the same time in US, Canada?
Yes. Yeah, US, Canada and Australia do the same time, but I think
it's a Father's Day that's different.
Father's Day is different, although if you're in England, their Mother's Day is different. They do that, I think, in March, their Mothering Sunday.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, they do.
Yeah, so I always find that interesting too, that, you know, it's not a universal thing. But, yeah, so it's Sunday, May 12th, I think, is Mother's Day in Australia, Canada and the States. So, yeah, I don't think there's any problematic aspects that weekend. So...
No. And, so it's going to be a nice time for mums with Jupiter and Venus. Yeah. Maybe a few more mums get to do what they actually want this time, which will be kind of nice.
Well, if we think about it.
And the dads might go out.
Sorry, Leash.
The dads might actually go out and, you know, dip their hands into their wallets with the Venus-Jupiter energy and buy the mums a nice present.
Are you putting a hint out there, Leashy? What do you want?
My husband doesn't even buy me birthday presents, let alone Mother's Day presents. So, yeah, but he looks
got
after
the water trio.
Yeah, and he's got the kids all weekend, so I can't complain because I'll be down at that psychic fair working. So
You're
I get to spend it with you, Cass. Yay!
That's right.
Yes, we've got a water duo weekend, so we'll have a great time. Yeah.
We'll have
What
to
about
call you, Kel.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and you're going away too, Kel, aren't you? You're having a girls' weekend.
Yeah, I'm doing that the weekend before Mother's Day
Oh,
weekend, so I'll be
okay,
home. I'll be home for the Mother's Day weekend. I was just thinking, like, yeah, the gifts, Venus trine Jupiter, like, spend a bit on maybe a little bit more of a luxurious or, luxury or an experience. Like, I almost, sometimes mums often say, I just want a little bit of time to myself. I'm like, this sort of aspect would be great for sending mum out to the spa or giving her, like, the day off or what have you. I know not every mum is like that. Some mums are like, I just want to be with my kids all the time. But I
Venus
think I
and
can
Aries,
do
it's
other
like,
more.
I want to do...
Really? I don't know many mums like that. But it's definitely not an energy to go and buy household appliances under. That is not cool for Mother's Day, sorry.
Or socks or
ever cool.
fluffy blankets and ridiculous tea mugs.
No, Venus is in Aries, you're right. Like, this is function,
Venus
not
Aries,
fashion.
Venus and Aries, like, I want my time and I want to do it alone and I want to go somewhere that I want to do. So it's a bit of a I want Mother's Day. So if you are starting to get those questions from your other halves, like, what do you want to do for Mother's Day? I want. Go for it. Yes.
Me time. Time.
Yeah. That's so Venus in Aries, isn't it? To be like, I want my me time. I want to do it solo. I want to do it on my own. Footloose and fancy free. She's just an independent warrior, kind of rocking it on her own.
Yeah.
Basically.
And it might even be going out and getting active. I mean, for me, the ideal me time is literally throwing the board on the roof and driving to the beach and not having little people under feet and just being able to get in the surf and, get in the surf full stop without holding a toddler. So
yeah,
it
absolutely.
might be a yoga retreat or something, a day off, doing something a bit more active, a bit more,
That's definitely Venus in Aries, isn't it? I want to be fit, like at the fire. I want to be moving. I want to be active, go on a big hike or a bushwalk or something, go to a dance class with some girlfriends or something.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. So there's some tips.
There are some tips. So, my gosh, like we've just flown through that
we
episode.
smashed that, but we Venus and Aries that.
Well, this is we've kept to our maximum listening time, so this is great.
Shall we just call it a day then?
We're going to be back next week. We'll always have more to say.
Are we already at half an hour? God, that's flown.
No, we're at like 23 minutes.
But we've covered all our material, is what we're saying. Like,
well,
we didn't...
what we've promised our listeners, what we've kept talking about, maybe because Venus is in Aries, we could do this, is talking about the types of exercise you can do depending on your Mars and what element it's in.
Okay, well, you lead the way, Lishi.
Okay, got it. Yep. Looking at what you're putting down. Okay, so I've got Mars in an air sign. I've got Mars in Aquarius. So the air signs...
Reading is your cardio?
Reading is, but I have actually been on a cardio machine at the gym reading. Yes. Is there
talking is her cardio. I remember walking with Kel way back when, and it was like, I think our mouths went faster than our legs.
We've got a lip workout. I have actually, when I was editing my first ebook on Saturn, I think it was Saturn and Scorpio, I took my manuscript to the gym and I edited on the treadmill.
I love that. I'd fall off.
I would great.
So fall off.
So basically, Mars in an air sign, Mars in Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, you got to keep your head busy. So working out with a friend, like Leash, we used to do our beautiful walks around Cremorne Point, anything where you can talk or socialize at the same time. The other thing, I really like sports or games like tennis where there's a bit of strategy involved, like you've really got to think about what you're doing. So that's my tip for Mars in air signs.
Things that breathe too. Like,
the breath stuff is important. Yeah. So, I mean, that's what I really like Pilates for. Because I feel like I go to Pilates and, yes, it's great for my core, but it's good for my brain too.
And yoga as well, like anything with a lot of breathing. I mean, not necessarily the hot yoga, but, I think the Iyengar or the Hatha yoga, where it's so much about the breath. It brings you back in that way. It gets you out of your head in a way as well.
So what other elements?
What about you, Cass? You're Mars in Earth.
I'm Mars in Taurus, and I do powerlifting.
Of course.
So, and, in our WhatsApp chat, so I've been talking to you at the gym in between sets. So that's what I love about powerlifting. You go in, you pick up something like 3 to 5, anything more than 5 is cardio times. And then you have these long breaks in between sets. It's just so perfect for my astro, right? And so I've been doing kind of like a different block. And this block that I've just entered into last week is heavier weight, lower reps. And I'm just, oh my God, I'm loving powerlifting again because it's suited to what I do. When it's on the other end of the scale and the reps are a little bit higher and the weight is a little bit lower, I'm like, oh, what? 10 reps? No way. Like, just keep it short, heavy and hard, and I'm down.
Yep. So anything that's persistence, endurance.
Exactly. Capricorn is great for like the long distance running or the endurance, things that go for a long time. And, things that, the endurance and long lasting. Exactly. And so that is one thing with powerlifting. Like, I might have 4 exercises to do, but it will take me 2 hours to get through it. So on paper, it looks short.
Done.
Short.
I know. And my water's like, what? Like, oh, that's too hard.
Yeah. So anyway, that's just a little bit about how it works for me. And I've been doing a little bit of research about people who are into strength sports, and they often do have, a Mars square Saturn or some, heavy components in their charts. So
I always do think about your Mars square Saturn as part of that.
It is the
pushing against the force. Yeah.
It's like a 3 minutes. So it's tight as. And just that, walking up to the bar, picking it up. Oh, it's exhilarating. I'm getting excited just thinking about it. But so that's just, just such a pure manifestation of how that heavy earth, Mars works for me at least. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
And what about you, Leash, with Mars in the water signs? Because you have Mars in Scorpio, right?
Yeah. So I'm all about water. Swimming. I used to do synchronized swimming when I was younger. I've always been a swimming. I know the nose clip and everything.
That's
diving.
What I was visualizing.
Yeah. Used to be able to do a full 20-minute routine. I could swim a 50-meter pool underwater without coming up for breath. I know, crazy, huh? So that's what Mars in water wants to do. Just so I've always been around water as much as possible, and I know others with Mars in water is the same. And just the meditative element of swimming laps just does it for me. But, active water sports as well, surfing, water skiing, all that kind of stuff. Supping now, a lot of people are into that. But also the flow of dance. That's a thing for me as well. And it's almost like that Mars loves the repetitive beat. So it's like that drumming dancing or dancing where there's like a heavy beat is often something that Mars in water signs loves as well.
But
don't Cass, I know.
Beats.
I could get down to heavy metal if I had to, Cass.
Yeah, we'd have a great time at the Metallica concert.
I know.
So have we covered all the elements? Have we missed one?
Fire.
Oh yeah, let's do fire. They love the competition, they want to beat everybody and they want to win.
And I was talking in my class the other day about the runners, like when Mars is in Aries, they run with their head, you can see them, and they're often the people who do the short distance or the hurdles or things like that. And then you've got the Leos that literally run with their chest out. I think, what's his name? The big, tall African-American. Yes. I'm pretty sure he's a Mars in Leo or a Leo sun or something. He just literally runs with his heart out. They just run that way, and they're generally the kind of the middle distance. And then the Sages, they just pump with their legs. You could just see their thighs going up and down like pistons. and the speed that they can get to, and they like the free range like the horse. So what are your thoughts on Mars in fire?
I mean,
that sounds down pat.
Yeah, I feel like that's it. Yeah, the competitiveness, the hot, the fast pace, the high intensity, that's what Mars in a fire sign tends to be like. But it'll be interesting for our listeners to let us know if they see any connection between the type. So if you guys at home listening, can you see any link between the type of exercise that you like to do with the Mars placement in your chart? I do have Mars in the 12th house in my chart, and I actually prefer to go walking by myself. It's one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah, my Mars is in the 12th, and I like to go solo, and powerlifting is not really a team sport.
Not really a team sport, yeah. I flip a little because I do have Mars in Aquarius, so I like to walk with friends occasionally. I do like to play tennis, of course, which is not a solo sport. But I do, when I lived in Sydney, I used to walk almost every day down by Cremorne Point, and that was just, it was like heaven and therapy and movement all at the same time.
Yeah. It was funny, you girls, we were talking just about fire and, what kind of gets them going, and you were talking about running, and I had that sort of sound of Jerry Seinfeld in one of those episodes going, I choose not to run, because, that's my choice is to not run. And I just had to have a quick look at the ephemeris and, Google his birth date. And I remembered he was a Taurus. So I'm like, yeah, that sounds true. And Mars in Capricorn. So, he's not running either. Yeah.
He's not running at all.
So, yeah.
And I've got Mars in the 7th. So all I want to do, like, surfing with buddies. Like, no. Well, there is a bit of that too. But, no, I love surfing with friends. Like, I hate going surfing on my own. I love to be with friends. So, and walking as well. Like, I usually am listening to you guys on WhatsApp when I'm walking. So I'm kind of taking you with me.
That's true. Yeah. Our little private chit-chat group. So, Mars and workout.
Like drop a comment in the box and let us know, like, what's your Mars sign and, what sports and activities do you like to do? So, I think we've kind of covered up everything we wanted to talk about today. So, we'll got anything on quickly anyone wants to announce? We're all just in conference prep and things, or...
Yeah, I do have my monthly astrology subscription that I need to give a shout out for. So if anybody wants even more astrology each week, that is a paid service that you can sign up for via my homepage, the monthly astrology subscription.
Awesome. Cool. And you, Lishi, do you have anything quickly to let people know about?
That week? No, I do have a couple of consult spaces open, and I will be prepping for the psychic fair on Saturday and Sunday. So for those who are on the Gold Coast or in Brisbane, head on down to Carrara Markets, and I will be there all weekend doing little mini readings.
And you were going to say another thing, Kel?
Sorry, I know I completely keep forgetting. I'm teaching in New York on Saturday, May 18th. I'm doing a full day workshop on progressions for the New York NCGR group. So if you just Google New York NCGR events or Kelly Astrology, it'll come up and you can register for that. So if that's local for you, I look forward to seeing you then. Otherwise, that's it from me.
Yay, awesome.
What about you, Cass? Have you got anything, honey?
I'm just in NORWAC prep. Also, because I'm spending a month in the US, then I'll be down in San Diego in June, and I'm doing a Friday night talk and a Saturday talk for the San Diego Astrological Society. So just trying to get all my, things together prior to jetting off across the Pacific.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! Alrighty.
Fantastic.
Well, thanks, gals. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Happy Mother's Day.